Maudite cloche de bâtard. Ça fait 2 mois que je le demande de la réparer. Je vais finir par me tanner. Je vais tout crisser ça en bas de la dompe un de ces 4 matins, moi. Mario!
Quoi?
Passe-moi le range.
Il n'a pas.
Une barre de fer, quelque chose. C'est tout encrassé, je vois rien.
OK.
Il nettoie jamais ça. Maudite maintenance de mes fesses.
Hey, Joe, là le boss.
Qui mange de la marde?
Hey, Joe, are you crazy, you stupid fool? What's the matter with you? Do you want this truck to roll down over the edge? It's gonna go down the dump. I've told you 100 times. Hey, Joe Poulain, get out of there!
Il nettoie jamais ça. Maudite maintenance de mes fesses.
T'as un choix à faire, Ben. T'as un choix à faire. C'est cette année que ça se passe. C'est tout là que tu vas décider qu'est-ce que tu vas faire dans la vie. Ou bien tu joues au hockey pour jouer comme tu fais. Puis pas te commettre plus envers ton sport, puis ta carrière à toi. Juste y aller, puis t'entraîner, puis faire tes affaires, avoir ton fun. Avoir du fun durant l'année avec les gars, sortir. Puis tu vas rentrer à 16, tu vas finir à 20, tu n'auras pas signé de contrat professionnel. Tu vas finir en Europe dans des petites ligues qui va être la pire échec que tu pourras pas avoir. Puis souvent, c'est juste un détail. C'est là-dedans. Un détail. Toi, c'est juste ça. C'est juste une petite affaire de maturité qu'il faut que tu prennes. Il faut que tu t'engages envers ta carrière. Il faut que tu saches c'est quoi être un athlète. Tu as des responsabilités. C'est pas juste dire je suis un joueur de hockey. C'est pas juste ça. C'est pas juste ça être un athlète. Il faut que tu deviennes un modèle. C'est un vrai joueur de hockey. Un gars qui prend à cœur à chaque jour, déterminé. Il est correct avec le monde, il est gentil, il est discipliné. Puis il prend soin de lui. Il faut que tu évolues en tant qu'individu. Tu es rendu là. Le défi du joueur de hockey, c'est de jamais plafonner. Dans la vie, le défi d'un individu, c'est de jamais plafonner. Tu peux toujours être mieux. Sauf que là, il faut que tu te réveilles là parce qu'au hockey, ça va vite. Boum, boum, boum.
At the eastern entrance to the park stands the little village of Alma in a typical East Coast setting. We took our holidays in August that summer and thought we'd see what the new Fundy Park had to offer. At the western gateway to the park, the warden on duty told us a lot about it, where to go and what there is to do. Amongst other things, he told us that, like all of Canada's national parks, Fundy is a game sanctuary. Of course, hunting and the possession of unsealed firearms are not allowed. we drive about a dozen miles through rolling, wooded country. And suddenly, there is the Bay of Fundy with Nova Scotia in the distance. The combination of hill and sea gives the park a special charm of its own. At the main park area, a colorful little French village lies before us. In a spruce grove overlooking the bay stands a community of cottages, each designed along the lines of the old French chalet.
Harry Merton. Hey! You know, we were just talking about you last night.
It's been years.
I see in the papers you wrote a book.
Yeah, it's going to be published pretty soon.
Well, that's terrific, kid. Boy, are you ever going to be in the chips. Another Mickey Spillane, huh?
It's not exactly that kind of book, Ed.
Don't sell yourself short, kid. You always had the knack of putting one word after another. Listen, there's something I want to talk to you about.
Oh?
You know, everybody says to me, Ed, with the life you've led, you should write a book. Say, which way you walking?
Straight along here.
Well, I'll go with you, right?
Sure.
You see?
Well, it wasn't Ed who was going to write the book. It was me. The idea was we'd get together every night for a couple of weeks over a beer, and Ed would just ramble along and reminisce. I'd whip it into shape, and we'd have a bestseller on our hands. Why, Ed's war experiences alone would knock them for a loop. I tried to explain that I needed my time to write my own books, but Ed couldn't seem to grasp that. Well, we'd have to get together sometime. Meanwhile, I had an appointment with a script editor. Not long after I got my advance copies, the book was put on sale. That evening, Louise and I spent a few anxious minutes waiting for the early edition of the morning paper. Maybe there would be a review. Yes, there was a review. Not wholly successful, but highly original. Shows a great deal of talent and promise, and so on. Well, I suppose it could have been worse.
Night falls. Less purpose and more mystery in your clients now. They're in no hurry, and you're not quite sure of their destination. They're lovers, or they're students of the night, and some of them wear furs and expensive perfumes. These two have hired a cab for their private world. For the duration of this ride, the driver himself does not exist for them. A new day is ready for most of the world, but a new night is ready for Jerry as he leaves the parade of faces.
wonderful Winnipeg. Hail my town, hail my home, the world that moves round and round. Winnipeg, Winnipeg, wonderful Winnipeg, where I belong, and joys redound in one long happy song. Here are friends and kindly faces, folks I'm glad to know. Memories, familiar places to cherish with a glow. Winnipeg, Winnipeg, wonderful Winnipeg. It's no Eden that you would see, yet it's home, sweet home to me.
Winnipeg. 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 Snowy, sleepwalking Winnipeg. My home for my entire life. My entire life. I must leave it. I must leave it. I must leave it now. But how to escape one's city? How to wake oneself enough for the frightening task? And how to find one's way out?
What are you gonna have today, Rachel?
I'll have some cigarettes and chocolate bars. Oh, should I get some suntan lotion?
Take a small one, Rachel.
I'll give you a check for the whole caboodle, all right?
Rachel Cameron. Nick Hasler. The one with the brother in the basket? You're staring.
Oh, sorry. I don't think I would have recognized you. We haven't seen each other since high school.
Thought we were going to have the pleasure of your company at Layton's last night.
Oh, were you the one? Oh.
Well, maybe I'll give you a chance to make it up. You want to go to a movie tonight?
Well, what's playing?
What's the difference?
That'll be 402, Rachel.
Thank you, Lee. Well, actually, I couldn't go tonight because I promised a friend that I would go someplace with her. Actually, I ought to be pointing my nose in the direction of home right now. Excuse me. Thank you.
Still live in the same place?
Oh, yes. I keep house for my mother. I have since my father died.
I didn't know he died.
There's no need for condolences. It was 14 years ago.
That's a lot of housekeeping. You didn't get to college?
Yes, I went to college, but when he died, I had to come back. You see, my mother sold the place to Hector Jonas for such a nominal sum that he allowed us to live upstairs in perpetuity. Or at least until we were ready to take our business downstairs to him. Sorry, what did you ask me? I'm a school teacher.
I didn't ask you, but so am I.
Oh, in the city?
High school.
High school in the city. Why did you come back here?
See my folks. They're beginning to slow down. Another look. That's all.
Well, I hope you have a nice visit. Excuse me.
You want to go to a movie tomorrow night?
I don't like movies very much. I see so many of them on television.
How about your sister? Is she busy?
Oh, Stacy? Stacy got married and moved away. We don't see much of her since she had her children.
And you got left behind?
Oh, I forgot my galoshes.
Hey.
Oh. Thank you.
No offense. I was just looking for a little action. I thought maybe you might be too.
Maybe I'll see you, Nick.
A strange place it was, that place where the world began. A place of incredible happenings, splendors and revelations, despairs like multitudinous pits of isolated hells. A place of shadow spookiness, inhabited by the unknowable dead. A place of jubilation and of mourning, horrible and beautiful. It was, in fact, a small prairie town. Towns like ours, set in a sea of land, have been described thousands of times as dull, bleak, flat, uninteresting. The town of my childhood could be called bizarre, agonizingly repressive or cruel at times, and the land in which it grew could be called harsh in the violence of its seasonal changes, but never merely flat or uninteresting, never dull. When I was 18, I couldn't wait to get out of that town, away from the prairies. I did not know then that I would carry the land and town all my life within my skull, that they would form the mainspring and source of the writing I was to do, wherever and however far away I might live. This is where my world began, a world which formed me and continues to do so. A world which gave me my own life work to do, because it was here that I learned the sight of my own particular eyes.
Over the past dozen or so years, in the pages of this internationally celebrated magazine, many Canadian readers have become familiar with the name and work of a remarkable Canadian writer. The name is Mavis Gallant, and the work, except for 2 novels, is in the form of short stories. Stories of uncommon insight and skill, which stimulated critics and a large number of her fellow writers to say that Mavis Gallant is one of the most talented women writing in the English language today. Her latest story is available in the current New Yorker magazine, and we're pleased to say its author was available to Telescope's cameras during a recent visit to Paris. Born in Montreal, Mavis Gallant left Canada in her mid-20s, spending various periods of time in England, France, Austria, Italy, Spain, and Switzerland, settling finally in Paris, where she now lives in a small but elegant apartment on the left bank. Her fellow countrymen may think of her as an expatriate,
But as the Canadian people and places in many of her stories bear witness, she is eloquently aware of her birthplace. Mavis Gallant's perspective on Canada is, to say the least, provocative, as you will discover in the illustrated conversation that begins right after this message. On the venerable left bank of Paris, Telescope met with Mavis Gallant in her modern apartment on the Rue Jean Ferrandi.
You've been away from Canada how many years now?
14.
And during those 14 years living around Europe, you've only, I gather, been back to Canada twice?
Yes, I was back once in 1955 and once last year.
What were your impressions during your first visit back in 1955?
Oh, that was awful. I went away thinking that everything would be exactly the same when I came back, which was an awful mistake. And I wasn't the same, and people were different. They were making a great deal more money. And they were just beginning to feel that kind of change. They didn't live where they had lived. Television had come in, and you have no idea the change that made. It began just when I left. And I noticed the change in the way people lived, the change in accent. Everybody gets angry when I say that, but it's true. They didn't sound the same. But you know that the first visit back never works. And everyone says this. I have a friend who's a professor at Laval who warns her pupils when they've been living in Europe. The first visit back you won't be able to take, but get through it and then come back again. And this time I loved it.
Well, this last visit was in the winter of 1963. What do you think made the difference?
Montreal was beginning to change, and I was upset. I thought they were making it very ugly. And this time the changes were over, and it looks nice.
They'd finished?
Well, I was upset at not finding things that I knew, that I had known as a child. And this time I went back thinking I'm going as if I'm going to a foreign city. You're always attached to the city you were born in, even if you think you're not. It's just as you never know how you're going to feel when a relation dies until it happens. And it happens to you once, and you know. And you have exactly the same feeling about your native city. Well, when Poles tell me that they suffered about the Warsaw bombing, I don't see any difference between that and the way we tear up our cities. As you go back, and the house you lived in as a child doesn't exist, the convent where we went to school has been torn down, turned into a boys' school, turned into something. You go and look for the house where your grandmother lived summers. It's cut up. The house exists, but all around it, where there was what seemed to you acres of lawn, are little lotissement with bungalows in them. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing. You can't find anything. What was country is now suburb. And those are things you absorb and say, well, that's that. The first time you die. And the second time you go prepared for the worst, and it's all right.
I'm flying, heavens above, higher and higher on wings of your love. But sometimes all the magic slips away, I'm falling to earth. Won't you catch me again, my friend? Sometimes I'm winning, round after round. Cards come up aces as fate deals them down. But sometimes
Steer your way past the ruins of the altar and the mall. Steer your way through the fables of creation and the fall. Steer your way past the palaces that rise above the rot, year by year, month by month, day by day. Thought by thought.
Joe, I just realized what all those survey markers around the lake mean. I've been looking for the petroglyphs in the wrong places. I mean, I've been looking for them in the right places. I just never realized they have to be underwater, not above. The Indians did them 1,000 years ago. The companies didn't care. They just raised the level of the water and the paintings drowned. They're deteriorating. That's why my father has been trying to make a record of them. Listen, there's a dock over there. Please let me off. I'm gonna stay for a few Take care, all right?
I will. You too, Katie. Here you go. I hope you know what you're doing.
What is happening with your friend?
Nothing.
You don't have to tell me.
Oh, there's nothing to tell, Yvette.
Well, it's none of my business anyway. You come here. I don't know why. And you meet an actor. And suddenly you're a nice little Québécoise. So your French is pretty good. But that doesn't make you one of us. Nobody believes you. Except Marc.
Is that what they all think?
I'm telling you what I think. Are you sleeping with your friend?
No.
But he'd like you to. Caroline. You'd better make up your mind what you want.
Why do you look at me like that?
I'm not looking at you like anything.
Yes, you are. What were you thinking?
Again?
Oh, just like before. I'm just looking at myself here. Will you be able to make a film out of it?
Wonderful.
We're going on a holiday, heading somewhere far away. I don't like the cold anyway. Just want a little warmth every day and night. If it's all right, the rain is falling, the month is June. I'm so jive, I can't resist a spoon of pure sugar to sweeten the moon. Come, let's make our getaway. We can't last another day. Survival is the only way. We're going on a holiday. Find a way. We'll leave today.
My dear Catherine, on this beautiful Christmas day, I offer you this coat.
Writing a love letter to your wife? Huh? You sure picked the right time. Summer, sunshine, palm trees. Oh. Lovely snow, Leo. Victoria Square.
Josette.
Josette isn't here. It's 11:05.
Wait, I've got her telegram. Miami terrible, Las Vegas impossible, stop. Anxious to meet your husband, stop. Arrive Central Station 11 a.m. on 24th. Trains don't crash, stop. Merry Christmas, Josette.
Does she look like her photograph?
She's got my eyes. Why don't you have her paged? Or use her stage name, Josita.
Josita, I've got your surprise, Catherine.
He's got my coat.
What you doing here? Playing detective. Stop following me!
I'm not following you. I'm on the Josette case. Josita. A fascinating case. Absent from work. And without leave. Right in the middle of a snowstorm. I'll have to make a report.
On demande, Mademoiselle Josita Josette. Au feu vert, s'il vous plaît. Calling Miss Josita Josette. At the green light, please.
Please, sir, would you wash my bags for a while?
Josette!
When winter comes howling into Montreal, it lays siege to Canada's biggest city by dumping 8 feet of snow onto the streets between November and April. In this motor age, even a 6-inch snowfall can paralyze a city by crippling its transportation. So Montreal, a city more vulnerable than most, because it is built on an island and around a mountain, fights grimly back against an enemy that always returns. And so the word goes out. Park all cars off the streets. Make way for the snow fighters. Even as the storm strikes, with its threat of stranglehold on 850 miles of streets, the strategy of counterattack is being plotted at headquarters.
Okay, thank you. It's getting worse. We'll be working all night. Get everybody on the job.
I'll call the district engineers.
Be sure those hills are kept open in the central district.
Right, sir.
L'attitude de Monsieur Lafontaine en acceptant cette union inique, infâme, n'est que coalition.
Si j'ai commis une faute en acceptant une place dans le ministère, du moins cette faute aura-t-elle profité à l'honorable membre?
Nous fondons un troisième parti. Au programme, réunir le Canada aux États-Unis.
Ce qu'il faut avant tout aux Canadiens français, c'est de rester unis.
Le Parti libéral-démocratique sera plus fort, plus pur que les autres.
Je propose la mise à l'étude des possibilités d'abolir enfin la tenure seigneuriale.
Je m'oppose.
Je recommande que la représentation de la Chambre soit élevée à 65 membres pour chaque province.
Système injuste.
Je recommande à la Chambre de pourvoir à l'achèvement des canaux du Saint-Laurent au plus vite possible.
Projet parfaitement ridicule. Il y a folie à croire que des vaisseaux européens se rendront jamais par vos canaux jusqu'à une distance si considérable à l'intérieur du pays.
Je recommande un bill à l'effet d'indemniser les citoyens du Bas-Canada qui ont subi des pertes durant les troubles politiques.
I know nothing in history so abominable as to recompense those who have been the cause of murders and bloodshed all over the land.
But the rebellion losses at Upper Canada have already been paid. There weren't just victims there, remember? There were leaders amongst them as well.
Let the Parliament pass the bill. Let the Governor sanction it if he pleases. But while there is an axe and a rifle on the frontier, and Saxon hands to wield them, these losses will not be paid.
Une maison que vous veniez tout juste d'acheter. Quand ce ne sont pas les nôtres, ce sont les Anglais.
Now, how did you do that?
I was in the tree and I slipped.
How many times do I have to tell you not to play in that tree, Dolores? Sit on the chair so I can look at it. Does it hurt much? Hey there! You've been told not to run in the house, haven't you? Out you go, out!
And now, you mustn't move for 13 seconds. Thank you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, amen. For what we're about to receive, may the Lord make us truly thankful.
Amen.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, amen.
Anxious to be on your way, Gio?
You'd better make sure the children are in bed.
Where? You know, by the pond. Pierre told me about it. It's a real nice place. We could bring our lunches, and maybe even John and Pierre could come.
Enough talk. You're going to wake up your sisters.